So today, all of Hollywood is saddened to hear about the passing of Luke Perry, who died at the age of 52 after a massive stroke that he had a few days prior. But while all of Hollywood is in mourning, this begs the question, what is going to happen to his character on Riverdale, as this season is still being filmed at the moment, and where are they going to go from there? Now, obviously, no decisions have been made just yet, although I figure the writers of the show are scrambling for an explanation on what to do. These are just kind of my opinions on where they could go with this, because unfortunately, this is not something that has not happened before in Hollywood. Lots of television shows and movies have lost leading actors and actresses during production, and while Luke was not a main character per se, he was still a very active part of the show, and he was in, several episodes. I would say maybe every other episode, depending on, the storylines for that season. It's been reported that production on Riverdale shut down today due to the news of Luke's passing, and although they have had a few days to deal with perhaps the idea of him not being able to come back since the stroke happened on the 27th, I'm sure they're not just that sure on where they're going to go so far with it, and the season is wrapping up because most of the shows they tend to end, they wrap production around the mid to the end of March, depending on when the show started, and I believe Riverdale is one of those that would probably film from July to March with a little few breaks in between. So they're definitely ending the season, so this makes, and we don't really know how much Luke has filmed on this, where, in me personally, I haven't actually watched the past couple episodes, so I'm not really sure where his character is at this point. Now, they have several options. There's the most obvious, of course, being that his character, Fred Andrews, would be killed off, even though in the past couple of seasons they've toyed with that a little bit. The end of season 1 was actually, that was kind of the cliffhanger, was his father being shot. So I don't know if they would necessarily go with that angle. There's also the idea of a recast, which used to happen quite frequently in older TV shows when when actors died, or just they decide to recast. There is that option, although you don't really see it as much these days. So I don't know if that would necessarily be a viable option. And then again, there's also always the idea that Fred leaves town. I can't decide why he would leave his son, considering their relationship is so close, but that is always an option. They could always bring Molly Ringwald in at, Archie's mother, and she could take over raising him, even though I don't think Molly Ringwald is really up for a series regular role. It just seems like from her acting in the past couple of years, she's done guest stints or, limited screen time as far as if she was a regular. I think she was on a show on ABC Family, and from what I understand, she wasn't in that just a ton of the time. She eventually became kind of a recurring character, and that's pretty much what she is in Riverdale. So now my personal theory is that due to the loss of the actor, and they'll want to honor the actor, I do think they'll kill him off in some way. Obviously, it's going to be something that happens off screen. I don't think it'll be anything that dives into the current storyline with the Goblin King or anything like that. I think something is just going to happen. They'll probably kill him off screen. There'll be like a memorial type episode, perhaps. And I also feel like this brings some more drama to the show, and this show is all about the drama nonstop. So I think that's probably the best option that they're going to go with there, because if they let Fred leave off camera, I don't see how this would come into play later on, as Archie's obviously going to be graduating soon, or any special event. I don't see how they'll get around him not being there, unless it's just something as simple as maybe using a stunt double from the back, or possibly dealing with like old footage that they have that hasn't been used from like deleted scenes and stuff. There's that option. I just don't see them going with that. I do think he'll probably be killed off in some way, maybe some way that's very fitting for the character, or it may be something completely random. Riverdale is full of intense drama, characters dying in really odd situations, and maybe this is just going to be something as simple as a car accident or something very normal that's going to provide kind of a realism to the show. And I find that a lot of TV shows do that, especially in this case. So there's that option. And now, as far as where Archie's going to go from there, my personal theory is that somehow he'll end up moving in with Betty and her mother next door. Even though Alice has never been the big fan of Archie, I do think that could be somewhere that he goes. I don't see him moving necessarily in with Jughead, and I don't see him moving in with Veronica at this point. But I could see him moving in with Betty. It's a stable home for the most part. But that could also provide some drama, especially between Archie and Betty, because the show's been teasing that pairing for a long time now. It's never actually happened because of their various other pairings. But this could be something where, maybe he moves in with them. Maybe she's the only one he can talk to. She has her own family issues, and maybe this could lead to something with them. I could see them going there for the added drama and just something to really turn the show up on edge. And also because, classic Archie is always the struggle between Betty and Veronica for his affections, and he bounces back and forth between them all the time. And maybe now they're going to turn that into a reality. Maybe that could happen. Now, do I think all of this is going to happen this season? Probably not, because, again, they are probably at the very last couple of weeks of filming. So I figure anything that does happen may happen over the summer. It may be something, a quick, episode at the beginning of next season. So there's that possibility. But anyways, that's just my theories on it. I'm sure everybody has their own. And, very sorry to hear the passing of Luke Perry. I've always liked him, in other things he's been in. I saw him in, Beverly Hills 90210 and reruns. I loved him in 8 Seconds and even the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. So it's a real sad day for Hollywood. They definitely lost a talent. And from every reports that I've seen, he seemed to be a very nice guy. He was very close with the cast of Riverdale, and I'm sure they're all in deep mourning, and this is, just a horrible time for them. So my thoughts definitely go to them and Luke's family in this time. But anyways, that's just kind of my theories on where they could go with the show. Obviously it's, very early on, so we don't know what's going to happen. So anyways, thanks for watching. Give this a like and a comment down below if you enjoyed it, or you just have a theory and wanted to share it. I'd be glad to hear from you. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.